Imagine owning thousands of stores across the world, generating billions of dollars in revenue, and completely dominating your industry. Now imagine being offered the chance to buy a small startup for just $50 million. A startup that most people had never heard of. A startup that looked insignificant compared to your massive empire. You reject the offer. Years later, that same startup destroys your company and becomes one of the most successful businesses in history. It's one of the greatest business mistakes ever made. This is the story of how Netflix killed Blockbuster. Welcome to the Business Vault. Let's unlock today's story. To understand how Blockbuster fell, we first need to understand just how powerful the company once was. Back in the 1990s, Blockbuster wasn't simply a movie rental company. For millions of families, Friday night meant one thing: a trip to Blockbuster. People would walk through brightly lit aisles packed with thousands of movies. Children rushed toward the latest animated films. Teenagers searched for the newest action movies. Parents debated which comedy or thriller to rent for the weekend. At its peak, Blockbuster operated more than 9,000 stores around the world. The company employed over 80,000 people. Its annual revenue reached billions of dollars. Wherever you lived, chances were there was a Blockbuster nearby. The company seemed unstoppable. But there was one part of the business model that customers hated. If customers failed to return their movies on time, they were charged penalties. These late fees became a major source of revenue for Blockbuster. In fact, the company earned hundreds of millions of dollars every year from late fees alone. While this made investors happy, customers were frustrated. Many people dreaded discovering that they owed extra money simply because they forgot to return a movie. Most businesses ignored this frustration. But a small startup saw an opportunity. That startup was Netflix. In 1997, two entrepreneurs named Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph launched a new company. Their idea was simple. Instead of driving to a rental store, customers could order movies online. The movies would arrive directly in their mailbox. At first, the idea sounded strange. Online shopping was still relatively new. Many consumers didn't trust the internet. Physical stores dominated retail. Compared to Blockbuster's giant empire, Netflix looked tiny. The company operated from a small office and had limited resources. Most industry experts believed Blockbuster had nothing to fear, but Netflix understood something important. Technology was changing consumer behavior. The internet was growing rapidly. People were beginning to value convenience more than ever before. Netflix wanted to eliminate everything customers disliked about movie rentals, most importantly, late fees. The company introduced a subscription-based model. Customers paid a monthly fee and could keep movies as long as they wanted. No penalties. No stress. No unexpected charges. The idea was revolutionary. Customers loved it. Instead of worrying about return deadlines, they could enjoy movies at their own pace. Slowly but steadily, Netflix began attracting loyal subscribers. Meanwhile, Blockbuster continued focusing on its traditional retail stores. The company remained confident. After all, it was the industry leader. Why worry about a tiny startup mailing DVDs through the post? But as Netflix grew, its founders faced a challenge. The company needed resources to survive. By the year 2000, Netflix was struggling financially. The business was growing, but profits remained elusive. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph feared their startup might not survive. So they decided to approach Blockbuster. The founders believed the two companies could work together. Netflix would provide its online technology. Blockbuster would provide its massive customer base and retail infrastructure. It seemed like a logical partnership. Netflix executives requested a meeting with Blockbuster leadership. During that meeting, Netflix offered to sell the entire company for approximately $50 million. Today, that number sounds unbelievably small. But at the time, Netflix was still a young startup with an uncertain future. The proposal seemed reasonable. Blockbuster had an opportunity to acquire innovative technology and strengthen its position for the future. But the company's executives weren't interested. From their perspective, Netflix wasn't a serious threat. Why spend millions acquiring a small company when you already controlled the market? According to numerous accounts, Blockbuster executives dismissed the proposal. Some reports even suggest that the Netflix founders were laughed out of the room. Whether that detail is completely accurate or not, one thing is certain. The deal never happened. Blockbuster rejected Netflix. It would become one of the most expensive decisions in corporate history. The Netflix team left disappointed. But they didn't give up. Instead, they returned to work with a renewed sense of determination. If Blockbuster didn't believe in the future of online rentals, Netflix would prove them wrong. Over the next several years, internet adoption exploded. More households gained access to computers. More consumers became comfortable making purchases online. The world was changing faster than many traditional businesses realized. Netflix was perfectly positioned to benefit from these changes. While Blockbuster focused on protecting its existing business model, Netflix focused on building the future. And that future was approaching faster than anyone expected. As the early 2000s progressed, Netflix continued gaining momentum. Its subscriber base expanded rapidly. More customers embraced the convenience of ordering movies from home. The company's subscription model eliminated one of the biggest frustrations in the rental industry. People loved it. Meanwhile, Blockbuster began noticing the shift. The company realized that Netflix wasn't disappearing. In fact, it was becoming stronger. To respond, Blockbuster launched its own online rental service. The company even attempted to reduce its reliance on late fees, but there was a problem: Blockbuster was reacting. Netflix was innovating. One company was trying to protect the past. The other was building the future. This difference would eventually determine the winner. The burden of Blockbuster's success became increasingly obvious. The company operated thousands of physical stores. Maintaining those locations required enormous expenses: rent, utilities, inventory, staff salaries, store maintenance. These costs added up quickly. While Blockbuster remained tied to physical locations, Netflix enjoyed a more flexible business model. The internet allowed Netflix to reach customers without opening thousands of expensive stores. As technology advanced, Netflix continued searching for the next opportunity. The company understood that DVDs would not last forever. Eventually, physical media would become obsolete. The future would be digital. Many executives recognized this possibility. But few companies were willing to bet their entire future on it. Netflix was different. In 2007, the company made one of the most important decisions in its history. It launched streaming. Instead of waiting for DVDs to arrive in the mail, customers could instantly watch movies and television shows online. Today, streaming seems normal, but at the time, it was a radical idea. Internet speeds were slower. Technology was less advanced. Many people doubted consumers would embrace online video. Netflix disagreed. The company believed convenience would win. And it was right. Streaming transformed the entertainment industry. Consumers loved being able to watch content instantly. There was no need to drive to a store. No need to wait for mail delivery. Everything was available with a few clicks. The shift happened faster than many analysts predicted. Netflix invested aggressively in streaming technology. The company wasn't focused on current profits. It was focused on future dominance. Blockbuster faced a difficult situation. Its business model depended on physical stores, but consumer behavior was changing. Every month, more customers migrated toward digital services. Every month, store traffic declined. The company struggled to adapt. Its enormous retail network, once considered a competitive advantage, became a liability. The very thing that had made Blockbuster successful was now holding it back. Debt made the situation even worse. Years of financial obligations limited the company's flexibility. While Netflix invested in innovation, Blockbuster fought to survive. The gap between the two companies continued growing. Then came the final blow: streaming entered the mainstream. Broadband internet became increasingly common. Consumers embraced digital entertainment. The demand for physical rentals collapsed. Blockbuster stores began closing. One location after another shut its doors. Employees lost jobs. Communities lost a familiar part of their neighborhoods. The once mighty giant was shrinking. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy protection. It was the end of an era. A company that had dominated the entertainment industry for decades had fallen. The king of movie rentals was gone. Meanwhile, Netflix continued expanding. The startup that Blockbuster once ignored evolved into a global entertainment powerhouse. Its streaming service attracted millions of subscribers. The company expanded internationally. It began producing original content. And few decisions have shaped modern business history more dramatically than Blockbuster's decision to reject Netflix. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the Business Vault. Because